Here with Luke Johnson to preview the 2024 Concordia Tennis season as we record this a little bit away from the first official matches of the spring season. But wanted to go back to just some background on yourself. Obviously know you've had siblings that have gone to Concordia, but what kind of factored into your decision to come to Concordia, and how much did maybe what you learned from your older brother and sister kind of factor into it?
Yeah, so I knew about Concordia for a while. I grew up going to a Lutheran church and a Lutheran elementary school. And so I knew about Concordia, but was kind of deciding between here and some bigger university state schools in Kansas. And my reasons for wanting to go there were social reasons. I had friends there. I felt a little bit more comfortable at a bigger school. But here I knew I had a Christian education that was super valuable to me. And I was able to see how some of my siblings succeeded here at Concordia, especially in meeting friends. And that was something I had heard was a big part of Concordia, was the community. And so that was a little bit of a leap of faith, kind of not knowing anyone here. I think it's small school, small town Nebraska, and it certainly played out, and I'm very thankful when it changed a thing.
Well, you're from Kansas City, so that means Chiefs, Royals, Jayhawks, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sports memory of all of those teams?
It's probably got to be the first Chiefs Super Bowl back in 2020, right before kind of all the COVID stuff hit. But whole family got to come back and watch together in Kansas City, and that was certainly a great memory, especially because that was the first in a long time. And so it's become a little bit more frequent, thankfully. But that first Chiefs Super Bowl was definitely probably my top sports memory.
Are they winning it this year? You want to make a prediction?
I unfortunately will say probably not. They got a tough road through the playoffs, but rooting for them hard throughout the entire time. I think we can get on to the second round past the Dolphins, but we'll see after that.
All right. Well, I guess we'll talk about tennis too.
Yeah.
Tell me about your background in the sport. How did you get started in it, and why was it, I guess, something that you became passionate about?
Yep. So I played a lot of sports growing up. Tennis was a little bit later. It was 7th grade that I kind of started for a little bit. Didn't start taking it seriously until sophomore year of high school. But it was the community again, and that was something that I loved about tennis was, unlike some of the other sports I played, the other sports, again, basketball was a lifetime sport for me, and but I just didn't click with a lot of my friends in that sport, whereas tennis, both in club practice and then also at high school, made a lot of great friends and had great coaches. So that kind of allowed me to latch on to that and take it more seriously. And so then obviously when I got the opportunity to play here at Concordia, I've continued the love for the sport, and it's the community still that is probably my favorite part of it. It's an individual sport, but it still allows you to meet great people.
Wanted to talk a little bit about Coach Hart. You've had a few different coaches, I guess, in your time at Concordia, but what have you, I guess, enjoyed about the process of getting to know Coach Hart and her expectations since the fall semester started?
Yeah, like you said, I've had a lot of turnover with coaches here at Concordia, and so it's been short spurts with each, and I've enjoyed different reasons, or different parts of each coach or things about each coach. But I really am thankful for Coach Hart's passion for the game and love for the game, and we as a team can feel that. And so bringing in her wonderful experience, coaching at a high level, again, is definitely felt as a team. But I'd say passion and fire towards the game is probably the most obvious aspect. Yeah.
Sure. I think every year each team has to sort of, I guess, define who they are and what they stand for. What are maybe some positive characteristics you see developing with this team?
Yeah, I would say unity, and so a lot of our team is tight knit, and it helps again being a little smaller, one of the smaller teams on campus, just because of the nature of the sport. But a lot of international students, also some students from the States, but always been a close team, and that helps. It's a little bit weird, tennis being individual, but also there's a big team aspect here in college, so being able to still have that tight-knit team. So I'd say unity is probably a good way to describe the team.
Sure, and how about this fall season that was passed? You get a few tournaments in, I think a couple dual meets. What did you learn about where this team is at heading into the spring?
Yeah, so our team has a lot of good youth. It's a pretty young team. I'm the only senior, and there's only a handful of juniors. So there's a lot of youth to this team, and so I'm excited to see with Coach Hart how this team can develop in the next couple of years. But as far as this year, I think, getting a lot of those tournaments, which were helpful. We have a lot of matches here coming up in the spring, and so the more we can get those matches, the more comfortable we can get before GPAC conference play. I think will definitely help get in the right mindset and get in the right shape for conference play later on in the spring.
Well, I know you have a busy schedule. You work for athletic communications too, worth mentioning. How do you maybe manage to put yourself in a position to take advantage of your final semester as a college athlete and get the most out of it?
I'm thankful that I was able to kind of front load my schedule, so some of my easier classes are this semester, and so that's what's helped being able to balance, obviously devoting time to tennis and academics, but also getting time to just enjoy senior year in between classes and stuff like that. So I think it's helpful to have a slightly easier semester, but then trying to stay organized throughout the many different activities that I have going on this semester.
About this, what's been your favorite moment just as a part of this team the past few years, even if it's not necessarily on the court or whatever?
I don't know if I would say necessarily not a single moment comes to mind necessarily, but talking about the fire that Coach Hart brings to the team, I think this year as a whole, just collectively our matches in the fall would be my highlight, just as far as the energy as a team. So there's a lot more watching of teammates or cheering teammates on. Again, being an individual sport, sometimes it gets weird. How much you are a team during those match days, and so this year having the loudness of our team, and that's something that I've really appreciated and noticed as far as I guess not a single moment but a collective moment is the energy of our team this year.
Well, before we started recording this, Devin Smith, the AD, was actually in here and talking a little bit about where things are going after your Concordia career. Maybe you could fill people in on just what you're looking forward to. May, I guess, will be a big month with graduation and a wedding.
Yeah, so I got graduation and then 2 weeks later got a wedding. So it'll be a busy end of the semester, especially with tennis, conference play and stuff like that. But thankful that we've had some time to plan ahead of time. But got a wedding, and then we'll stay here in Seward for a couple months, making some money before heading off to grad school. Still don't know exactly where that'll be yet. Got a couple schools that I've applied to, go on to grad school after Concordia.
All right. Lastly, can I get a SCO Dogs?
SCO Dogs.